In terms of lifecycle management, as we desegregate hardware from software, it's not one fully integrated stack anymore. And while it provides the benefit of having more competitors in the ecosystem so that you can build a best of breed system on your own or with these system integrator, but it also brings the lifecycle management problems because now you have to manage the lifecycle of the different components separately in some cases. The way VMware we help us is we take all the complexity out. We fully automate the stack right from the physical, the compute layer, the networking layer, and the storage layer, and then the CAS layer, the Vim layer, and then the application lifecycle. So while a lot of this was done, and there was a secret sauce in the NAP software, now we've kind of taken it out and we've created a generic version of it in VMware tools, which gives service provider the same experience they used to have with the full stack, but in the desegregated environment.
So for RAN to help CSPs deliver a more sustainable future, it's really about doing more with less. So we talk about delivering the same quality of service, the same user experience, but using less power. We talk about using XApps and RApps to deliver the same kind of capacity or increased capacity with less throughput and therefore less infrastructure. So I think with the RAN, in the context of energy saving, we look at how we can use, as I said, XApps to deliver power saving. So we're talking about doing the same, delivering the same user experience, the same quality of experience, using less power. And again, spectral efficiencies. So to be able to use those XApps and RApps to do more with existing assets CSPs have, which enable them to not have to deploy new infrastructure.
So today, when an operator has to lifecycle the network, it requires a series of steps that have to be carried out in succession across multiple functions and sometimes across multiple tools as well. That can be very complex and it's error prone, and those errors can lead to a network outage. With the VMware Workflow Hub, that presents a simple GUI to the operator so they can build step-by-step workflows. Those workflows can be combined into a larger, more complex lifecycle management orchestration. Then they can be executed automatically, reducing errors and manual intervention. This saves time, it's repeatable, and it saves the operators a lot of money doing it that way.
So in order to reduce carbon footprint, VMware is working actively more than 20 years with the vendor providers, starting from the chipset up until to the hardware vendors, the server vendors. We are working closely with them to see how our infrastructure deployment can optimize the carbon footprint of this infrastructure that we deploy. Together with the automation, we are trying to find the path to optimize and to make sure that we are configuring the hardware to produce the amount of capacity that is needed, and by that, to optimize the carbon footprint.
When telcos are thinking about lifecycle management, some of the most difficult things, especially walking into this new technology space where we're using technology such as Kubernetes, and they're really built for applications and not stability. They're really built for speed and not stability. And VMware tools, our platform, our infrastructure, our history really speaks to stability, reliability, and recovery. VMware technology is really built on providing those four pillars for an application. And so applying that to a RAN or a core, we have the history, the technology, the structure, the know-how to then protect applications in those spaces.
So I think for telcos, one of the main issues around implementing these new tool sets, these new capabilities, is their existing networks. So we're not talking about greenfield, they have to also account for their existing brownfield networks. And so VMware's tool sets enable them to do that. One perfect use case is the RIC that can also be used for legacy networks to bring those power saving or capacity XApps to bear on the legacy network.